A very good day. So in this series, we'll be talking about how to put up your research article for journal publication. So in this presentation, we'll be talking about the author's information, abstract, keywords, introduction, materials and method, results and discussion, and conclusion, and then the references. Just a few tips. So the author's details usually include the author or author's names, should you have co-authors, the affiliation, and email or email addresses of all the authors. And then we have the abstract, which should be written after you must have concluded your research. And usually, the abstract provides an overview of what the study is all about. And as such, it provides a quick introduction. It states the aim of the study, and then the problem solved, the methodology used to solve the problem, and some important findings. Usually, the findings in this session are quantified by assigning some numerical values to the observed performance. Say you want to say 60B improvement over XYZ and all of that. So you want to assign some numerical values to the level of improvement you must have observed in your study. And it should be noted that the abstract must not contain citations. Then we have some important keywords related to the investigated area. And in the case of some of our communication engineering research field, well, some of the keywords could be data related, but these are important keywords that are directly related or linked, that could be directly linked to your research. Say about 5 or 6 of them. Then the introduction. So the introduction is more like the literature review, but a brief, comprehensive review of the literature. So here, one of the tips here is that this provides a brief review of recent and relevant literature related to the study area. So all statements of fact should be duly acknowledged by citing relevant sources. So this should be evidence-based. And then the study is not, this study, or better still, the introduction session is not a collection of irrelevant details. So the content in the session should include details that are relevant to the study. So this is where you critique the literature. So in such, you want to conduct the analysis. And you want to do this in a chronological order relative to probably the year of publication, author's contributions, and so on. All sources must be cited. And this session should include the citation of an average of 30 recently published articles in the study area, which you must have reviewed. Now, after identifying the gaps in the literature, you will have to tell the gap you intend to address in the article. So this may be taken to be the aim of your study. And in the sentences that follow, you want to briefly describe what the other sections of the article will address. Say the methodology will be on this, afterwards section so and so will address this, and so on. Then the materials and method. This session should be well structured by including the setup of the experiment. So the equipment, test bench, software applications like versions, should be stylishly documented in this section. Now, the governing equations, flowchart, or pseudocodes should be documented also. In this session, the documentation of the technical details of your proposition is paramount. Now, it should be noted that the outcome of the methodology should fill the knowledge gap. And as such, intuitively, one could infer that the gap being filled must have been mentioned in the introduction section. And then in this session, you want to formulate the algorithm, or better still, the flowchart or the pseudocode. And do note that the sequence must align with the objectives required to bridge the identified knowledge gap. And also, in bridging the knowledge gap, effort must be made in modeling the proposed solution by deriving the governing equation that addresses the problem. So you may want to start off by modeling using some differential equations. You could represent them probably using Hilbert spaces, Banach spaces, or whichever mathematical basis you are, acquainted with. But the bottom line is there must be a mathematical basis for the representation of your idea in this session, because it is on that premise you want to develop your algorithm and results in discussion. This session includes the graphical representation of the results or findings from the study. It is preferable to plot findings using MATLAB software if the software application used in the study does not generate the results in a graphical form. Beyond the pictorial or graphical view of the results, technical interpretation of the graphical outcome is required using numerical values. This is where you quantify your findings. Note that you do not have results if you are not able to measure or quantify them. As such, you may want to adopt a few statistical tools to quantify your findings. This is where you tell the improvement arising from your contribution to knowledge in measurable terms. You also want to validate your findings. And validation could be done by either comparing your measured data using standardized equipment with simulated results. You may also want to validate your findings by comparing the outcomes with already existing findings to check for improvement. You may also want to validate by testing your findings with known and standardized tools in the area or your area of study. So depending on the particular research or kind of research you are conducting, especially for quantitative research, which this presentation is all about, then you want to decide the best approach for the validation of your results. You should know that validation showcases the quality of your findings relative to what must have been done in that area. Then the conclusion session. This is a summary overview of what the study is all about. It is actually different from the abstract. So it should not contain citations, really, just like the abstract. Now, it should also contain the contribution to knowledge relative to the knowledge gaps you must have filled in the study. And one important question to ask is, what is new about your work? You should be able to document that at this point. You want to ensure that you assert in clear terms that you have not reinvented the wheel in your paper. And then the references section. This is a list of all the articles cited in the work. Note that only articles cited in the work should be listed in this section. You also want to ensure you avoid the use of unverifiable sources, say random web pages, blogs, and, and so on. Then you want to cite documents hosted in verifiable sources, such as conference papers, original peer-reviewed journal articles, review papers, book chapters, and so on. So with this, hope this helps in preparing you and helping in say getting your ideas into paper or into publishable formats. And do know that whichever journal of interest you now intend to publish your paper in, you will have to transfer your contents into their template. And often the content required for such presentation may not exceed this. All the tips here should help in any way. Do have a great day.